Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum and good morning. So we are from group 9 and we're gonna present our project slide. So my name is Muhammad Rafiq and my teammates Aliana Najia and Hisham. Okay, so the objective of our experiment is to identify how will type of surface affect the time taken for a liquid crosses a specified distance. And another one is to measure the time taken for different liquid to travel a certain distance on specific surface. So basically, we run two experiments which different variables. And the first experiment is we fix the surface but varies the liquid, and another one is we fix the liquid and varies the surface. So we will move on to the discussion. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alana Jiha binti Zakaria. I'm going to talk about result and discussion. Okay, our experiment consists of two parts. Okay, table 1 shows the data recorded for experiment part 1, which is the time taken for various types of liquids to flow on an inclined fixed surface. For part 1, we test three different types of liquid, which are oil, water, and softener, to flow on glass surface. Okay, we repeat the experiment 4 times and then we calculate to get the average value. Next is part 2. Okay, table 2 shows the data recorded for experiment part 2, which is the time taken for certain liquid to flow on various inclined surfaces. Okay, for part 2, we test oil to flow on three different types of surfaces, which are wood, glass, and sandpaper. And then we repeat the experiment for 4 times and then we calculate to get the average value. Okay, table 3 and 4 shows the ANOVA tables for experiment part 1. And table 5 and 6 shows the ANOVA tables for experiment part 2. Okay, for part 1 experiment, based on table 1, it can be deduced that water takes the shortest time taken to flow on the glass surface, followed by oil and softener. Okay, this is due to the factor of viscosity. Viscosity is a property of liquid in motion which provides restrictions in flow. Based on the result obtained, we could conclude that different liquids have different time taken to flow due to different viscosity. From this experiment, it can be inferred that the viscosity of water is less than oil, followed by softener, and softener has the largest viscosity as it takes the longest time to flow on the glass surface. Okay, for the first part of the experiment, the data is tabulated in ANOVA, table 3 and 4. Based on table 4, the sum squares SS between groups is 5042.95 while 50.05 within groups. The degree of freedom, which is dF, is 2 between groups and 9 within groups. The mean squares, MS, is 2521.48 for between groups and 5.56 for within groups. For between groups, the F ratio calculated is 453.45. And the p-value is 9.24 to the power of negative 10, and the F critical is 4.26 for between groups. Okay, next is for the part 2 experiment. Based on table 2, it can be inferred that oil flow the fastest on glass surface, followed by wood and on sandpaper surface. From the result obtained, we could conclude that the time taken for liquid to flow on different types of surfaces differ for different roughness of the surfaces. The rougher the surface, the more the friction that will obstruct the flowing of the liquid. Hence, it can be inferred that glass has the lowest level of roughness compared to wood, followed by sandpaper. For the second part of the experiment, the data is tabulated in ANOVA table 5 and 6. Based on table 5, the sum squares SS between groups is 2591.9, while for within groups is 359.06. And then the degree of freedom DF is 2 for between groups and 9 for within groups. The mean squares MS is 1295.95 for between groups and 39.90 for within groups. For between groups, the F ratio is 32.48, and finally the p-value calculated is 7.65 to the power of -5, and the F critical for between groups is 4.26. That's all for me. Thank you.
The conclusion. In conclusion, the experiment was conducted and the objectives of this experiment was obtained. In the first part of the experiment, the factor as expected was the viscosity of the liquid, where the more viscous liquid, the more time taken to cross a certain distance. The average time taken for water, for example, to flow was 4.9 seconds with a variance of 0.85 seconds, which means that the water has the lowest viscosity among the liquids studied. In the second part of the experiment, the factor as expected was the roughness of the surface, where the rougher surface, the more energy lost due to the friction between the surface and the liquid studied. So the time taken for oil, for example, to cross a certain distance on the glass surface was almost 9.69 seconds with a variance of nearly 0.57 seconds, which means that the glass has the smallest roughness among the surfaces studied in this experiment. For a recommendation, in every experiment has a potential of failure and mistakes, and as well it has a potential of improvement. These are some recommendations that could improve the experiment. It is recommended to increase the sample size in order to decrease the human error factor and enhances the confidence of the results. Moreover, increasing the distance traveled by the liquid and increase the amount of liquid traveling on the surface would also improve the observation of the effects of these surfaces. And so the accuracy of the results doubled or might be trebled. In addition, expanding the time appointed for each factor testing would ease the observation and would make collecting data more efficient. And lastly, doubling the number of times conducting the experiment would more likely bring more precision to the results of this experiment. And lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to our video.